Tapo dashed through the snow-covered trees, his paws slipping slightly because the ground was too cold. He ran while holding his empty stomach, thinking only about the secret treasure waiting to be checked. When he was just a few steps away from the familiar clearing, he jumped forward with excitement. But before he could land thud, he dropped straight into an unusually deep snow hole. Snow burst upward, forming a white cloud in the air. Tapo staggered to his feet. The place that had been flat and safe yesterday was now dug up as if something large had scraped it in a hurry. Drag marks stretched away from the hole, pressed deeply into the fresh snow. Tapo stood frozen, then began trembling as he realized the snowy spot where he hid his treasure was completely empty. Peter arrived, sliding as he tried to keep his balance. He looked around, kneeled at the edge of the hole to inspect. On the snow surface, Peter saw many chaotic footprints, some large, others small and quick. Nearby were several gray hairs scattered as if blown back by the wind.
Peter, it's gone!
Calm down. Let me see.
Peter circled the hole, checking each drag line, then sniffed strongly as if trying to read everything that had happened. The smell of fresh snow mixed with disturbed soil proved that the culprit had been here only moments ago. Tapo climbed out of the hole, his legs still shaking, eyes locked on the deep drag marks that looked like something heavy had been pulled away in a rush. Snow fell again in a thin layer, making the first marks begin to fade. Peter immediately stood upright. There was no time to hesitate. If they delayed even a few minutes, the last traces would vanish beneath the thick white snow. Tapo opened his mouth to cry out, but Peter didn't let him panic.
We follow the trail. Now.
He pointed to the dragline running along the narrow path leading deeper into the dark forest. The snow there was thicker, the wind stronger, each gust blowing away more of the tracks in seconds. Tapo swallowed hard, staring at the path ahead, his heart pounding. He didn't know who the culprit was, nor why his treasure had been taken. Peter moved quickly without waiting. He leaned his body against the wind, eyes continuously scanning the fading marks. Tapo had to scamper to keep up, sometimes slipping and sending snow spraying onto his coat. Every few meters, the tracks changed. Some parts were dragged deeply, as if the stolen item was heavier than expected. Some sections turned sharply, forcing Peter to pause for a beat to confirm the correct direction. Tapo glanced around nervously, feeling as if someone was watching from within the forest.
Do you see anything?
Not yet. Keep close.
Both of them pushed forward as snow fell even thicker. Each step sank into the soft white layer, their breaths growing heavier. Ahead, the drag marks curved into a wide arc along the base of snow-covered boulders. A sudden sound echoed from the front, a sharp scraping noise like something clawing hard under the snow. Peter instantly raised a paw to signal, "Stop!" Tapo gulped, hiding behind him and trying to see through the drifting, hazy snow. The scraping grew louder, clearer, and very close. Peter slowed down, lowering himself to hear more clearly. The scratching sound echoed steadily and strong, like something urgently digging through the snow. Tapo hid behind him, trembling slightly as the wind whipped straight into his face. Snow fell so thick that even a few steps ahead were hard to see, yet the sound was still loud enough to make both their hearts pound. Peter stepped forward 2 more steps, then suddenly pulled Tapo to hide beside a jutting rock. He tilted his head and brushed away a thin layer of snow on the top of the rock to widen the view. Right in the narrow forest space ahead, a gray wolf was clawing at the snow as if something important was buried underneath. Each swipe sent snow flying in white bursts, falling back onto the thick ground like powder. Tapo's eyes widened, mumbling in his throat, but Peter signaled him to stay silent.
Wait, watch.
The gray wolf scraped at the snow layer by layer, but its movements didn't look like it was searching for a treasure. Its tail flicked the way hunters do, not like a thief dragging something heavy. Peter observed closely, then noticed the drag marks earlier didn't lead toward the wolf at all. They curved slightly to the side. He glanced left. Next to the wolf's digging spot was a new drag trail, smaller but deep and sharp, as if something had been pulled quickly through here. The tracks led straight to a raised mound of snow. Near that mound lay a small piece of some shell bitten but partly covered by snow, making its shape unclear. Tapo sniffed the breeze passing by and wrinkled his nose, both worried and curious. He stepped forward, but Peter caught him in time because the wolf lifted its head. Its yellow eyes scanned the forest cautiously. But after a few seconds, it plunged back into digging, clearly focused on prey under the snow, not any treasure.
So, not him?
No. Look at the tracks.
Peter pointed toward the new drag marks at the edge of the rock. Clearly, something smaller and quicker had dragged a heavy item through here. And more importantly, the wolf's scratch marks didn't match the original drag trail at all. A sharp gust blew, sweeping away a thick layer of snow on the ground, revealing a distinctive footprint, oval-shaped, smaller than a wolf's, with slightly curved claws. Tapo's mouth fell open in recognition. But before he could speak, the snow on the nearby mound suddenly collapsed with a crash. Both of them jumped back. Under the broken snow, a small tunnel entrance appeared round, neat, and very familiar. Peter immediately knew who made this kind of tunnel.
Raccoon. It's a raccoon.
Tapo's eyes widened even more. In the Dew Forest, only one creature was known for digging fast winter tunnels and swiping items before snow could cover its tracks. Kapi the chubby raccoon. Just as Peter stepped toward the tunnel entrance, the ground beneath them slid hard. The snow covering the rock loosened like a falling wave, pulling both Peter and Tapo down a slope of white powder. Both of them panted, snow sticking to their faces and fur. Peter brushed off his coat first, then reached out to help Tapo stand. The air inside the tunnel was colder than outside, with a faint smell of freshly dug soil and something very familiar. Tapo inhaled once and froze. His breath caught in his throat. In the corner of the tunnel, something round was piled up in neat stacks, reflecting the dim light. Peter stepped forward and bent down. The snow stuck on the surface slid off, revealing the shape clearly, a mound of acorns. More than Tapo had ever buried. A few acorns were half-gnawed, bits of shell scattered around the pile. This was Tapo's treasure. The little fox darted forward instantly, wrapping his arms around the pile of acorns as if afraid they would vanish again. Tapo's relieved gasp filled the small tunnel, both joyful and upset at being robbed. But before he could say anything, a shaky snort-snort sound came from the shadowed corner. Peter turned quickly. From the darkness, a round face peeked out, eyes widened in guilt. Kapi the chubby raccoon, his cheeks puffed, covered in acorn crumbs. He stood frozen like a statue, still clutching another small bag of acorns. Kapi blinked several times, then covered the bag with his paws, as if hiding the greatest secret in the world.
I found them.
First?
Tapo almost shouted, but Peter raised a paw to stop him. Peter stepped toward Kapi, examining the tunnel. The drag marks, the small footprints, the neat digging style, even the bite marks on a few acorns. None of it could be mistaken. Kapi was the culprit, but judging by how flustered he looked, it didn't seem fully intentional. Kapi stepped back once, his fur standing on end from anxiety, then made short, stuttering squeaks. Peter understood immediately. Kapi thought the acorns were abandoned under the snow, so he collected them to keep and tried a few. The raccoon lowered his head and opened his small paws apologetically. Tapo looked at the intact pile of acorns, then at Kapi still trembling. His anger softened quickly. After a few seconds of sighing, Tapo pulled the bag of acorns from Kapi's paws, but didn't scold him.
Next time, ask first. Okay.
Kapi cleared the tunnel pathway and helped the two push the pile of acorns closer to the entrance. Tapo held his treasure tight, unable to hide his relief. Just as all three were about to leave, the snow outside suddenly fell harder, making the white light flash and fade. Peter glanced out of the tunnel. Not only was the old drag trail still visible, but a new one had just appeared nearby, still sharp and fresh. Someone, or something, was also searching for their own winter treasure. Tapo swallowed. Kapi perked his ears. Peter squinted at the new drag line, curiosity clear on his face. Winter in Dew Forest still held many mysteries ahead.
Ready? Ready for another chase?
Tapo hugged his bag of acorns tightly, took a deep breath, and nodded hard. Though tired, all three felt a spark of excitement for the next adventure, hiding somewhere under the snow. Do you think you can guess what will happen in the next discovery? See you next time.